I'm a few days late with this video, but not too late. Our state legislators here in Alabama have kept Governor Kay Ivey very busy this legislative session. Numerous bills were approved and became law on October 1, 2025. I counted at least 10 new laws. I got tired and I stopped. None of the legislation directly names notaries by title, so I want to be clear about that. So, as far as Alabama notary laws are concerned, no changes as of yet. However, after reviewing the long list of new laws, I believe that three of those new laws that went into effect October 1st will and can indirectly affect us notaries and the service that we provide. So in this video, I'm going to do a quick review of those three new laws, and at the end of the video, I want to update you on the federal Remote Online Notarization Bill. I hope that by now you have taken a moment to subscribe to the channel. If not, take a moment to do that for me so that you can always have the latest information about any new bills and laws that can affect notaries. All right, so the first law that I want to talk about, it started off as Senate Bill 244, SB 244. The new law relates to retirement benefits. And as you can see on the screen, SB 244 addresses theft of benefits, retirement benefits, and anyone found guilty of that will be considered guilty of aggravated theft. I'm going to read a quick excerpt here. It says, aggravated theft of employee retirement benefits is a Class C felony. A conviction for aggravated theft of employee retirement benefits shall be treated as a Class A or Class B felony for the purposes of Section 15188. Now, I know some of you are scratching your heads, not because you have lice, but because you're wondering why Michelle thinks this has anything to do with notaries. The reason being, many retirement benefits, when it's time to withdraw funds, require the retiree or the retiree spouse to sign certain doc withdrawal paperwork and have their signatures notarized. So that's why I'm talking about this. And again, you're like, okay, so what does that have to do with us? Well, it puts us in the room, the same room, with the retiree and perhaps family members or other individuals. My reason for bringing this up to you is to recommend or suggest that you stay on your P's and your Q's when it comes to this type of notarization. Now, to be honest, we should always be on our P's and Q's for every notarization. But when you're dealing with someone's retirement benefits, we could be talking about quite a bit of money. Thousands, tens of thousands, $100,000 and higher. And so for this type of notarization, I am suggesting that you be very clear and observant during the notarization process, making sure that the both individuals who need to sign the paperwork are fully alert, know what they're signing, are not being forced to sign. So I'm speaking of now the what I call the verbal ceremony. Again, making sure that there is no coercion or reluctance to sign that is going on in your presence. I'd like to say that I know for sure a notary would never knowingly participate in theft of retirement benefits. But to be honest with you, with everything going on in America these days, I don't put it past anyone. All right? I really don't. Especially when I hear and I've shared some of the news stories about notaries who are up to no good doing incorrect things. And so, yeah, I don't put it past anyone. So I'm encouraging you when you get that call that someone needs their retirement benefits paperwork notarized by you. Just do not treat this as a unimportant signing. I will never forget when a minister's family asked me to notarize their family member's signature. It was a proof of life form, and the purpose of that form was to allow the retiree and the family to continue to receive this individual's retirement benefits. And when I got to the location, to the room, the retiree was not able to speak to me. The retiree's eyes were closed. The retiree was breathing, but that's about it. And it was a very uncomfortable position that I was placed in. I did refuse to notarize, but I was pressured by the family to go ahead and notarize the signature that had been made on the form well before I arrived to verify identity and do anything. So, again, I had to be very firm, which I was, and it was, I'm sure, upsetting for them. I didn't care. And it was upsetting to me to be placed in that situation. So don't assume that it could not happen to you. Before I leave the retirement law, I want to say one more thing. I think usually notaries assume that should there be any fraud, not on the notary's part, but let's say on family members' part, or a caregiver's part, that it would be the family that would bring charges against the notary or whomever. But it could even be the retirement organization or the insurance company, whoever is managing the retirement funds. So again, it's not if whoever is administering those benefits believes that there has been fraud committed, that very wealthy entity that has plenty of lawyers at their beck and call could initiate an investigation and reach out to the notary for explanation on what happened. How is it that this proof of life form or withdrawal form was notarized by someone who is now saying they were robbed or tricked or fooled? So that again is why I say it's important to stay on your P's and Q's. Speaking of P's and Q's, I use that term a lot because of my age. That was a very common phrase back in the day. But it just occurred to me that there may be a number of you who have no idea what I mean by that. If you do know what I mean, I'd like for you to put it in the comments below. I hope I'm not the only one on this channel who knows what P's and Q's are about. And I'll explain it to you after we're done with these next two new laws. All right, we talked about retirement benefits. Moving on, price gouging. That's right, price gouging. This falls under House Bill 528. It's called the Price Gouging Bill. It is, as of October 1st, 2025, unlawful to do any price gouging during an Alabama state of emergency. So now I'm reading from the document. The Code of Alabama further provides for the prohibition of unconscionable prices during a declared emergency. As you know, the governor of Alabama, Governor Kay Ivey, as of this date of this recording, here in 2025, is the individual who would declare a state of emergency. Now, I'm sure a few of you are thinking, okay, that rarely excuse me, happens. Think again. A state of emergency doesn't have to cover the entire state of Alabama. It could be in one or two counties. And as we go into or enter into our inclement weather season, tornado season, hurricane season, it is not rare for this sort of thing to happen. All right, so now you're wondering, Michelle, how does this affect notaries? Well, let me read you Section 831-3 of House Bill, of the Alabama Code, and this is House Bill 528. It reads, "It is unlawful and a violation for any person or entity to impose unconscionable prices for the sale or rental of any commodity, the rental of any facility, listen up now, or the provision of any service during the period of a declared state of emergency for any time periods and in any affected area specified in a proclamation by the governor or a joint resolution of the legislature. As notaries, and especially as notary business owners, those of us who are mobile or traveling notaries, we provide a service. So we are not excluded from this. Now, those of you who are notaries who rarely charge at all, do it on a volunteer basis, this would not apply to you, but it could apply to Alabama notary signing agents and apply to mobile or traveling notaries throughout the state. We do provide a service, and it's important that when a state of emergency has been declared, that we don't take advantage of the residents here in the state by hiking up the our travel fees, our print fees, or any type of fees. Keep in mind, it is never okay to charge more than the $10 per notarial act. We do have some subjectivity when it comes to charging for our travel and or any additional services that we offer. An example might be if you offer apostille services, you may be asked to provide a photocopy of someone's license or passport or whatever the document is that's being apostilled. Travel really sticks out to me because as recently as 2 weeks ago, I heard from an Alabama notary who is part of the notary community on Facebook that she knows of an individual who charged either $300 or $400 to notarize one signature on one document. The total fee was either $300 or $400. I believe it was 400 because I know of another instance where it was the notary charged $300 for maybe 2 signatures. I'm confident that this is not that unusual. And so I am letting you know that now the law, not the notary law, but the law of the land says they don't care whether you own a gas station and you price gouge gasoline, or if your business provides a service and you're price gouging your travel fees. It is against the law. Now, this law does not get into whether it's a misdemeanor, a felony, what the punishment is. It just says it's unlawful. So think long and hard before you try to take advantage of Alabama residents by hiking up your fees without any justification. The law will not be on your side for that. Now for the third and final new law that I will be addressing because I feel that it indirectly can affect or impact Alabama notaries is the new adoption laws. Um, my head was spinning after I read Senate Bill 94 because I get the impression Alabama has made some major changes to the requirements and the different forms or documents that must be completed and satisfied when someone wants to adopt a child or teenager or adult, the documentation, whoa. So, my recommendation is that for those of you who are still trying to find your footing as a notary business owner, these new requirements involve uh, the need for the family, the parents, the lawyers, the legal team that's involved in this process, and it's a lot that they've got a lot more to do and to sort through, and they may be more open to looking to a notary that offers these services either on a voluntary basis, if you're looking to do some community service work, or even if you want to market your notary services to them. I believe in a earlier video, it's listed on the channel, I talk about how to market your services to private investigators. And so this adoption process does involve an investigator and or legal team members to gather all these important documents. Many of them need to be certified. Other affidavits need to be notarized. So I think it would be a really good opportunity, again, whether you're doing it to market your services, whether again you want to help out adopting parents with all of these requirements to help with their costs, offset their costs. Keep in mind, as of 10/1/2025, I feel that your services will be needed even more. So, those are the three new laws that I wanted to bring to your attention. Before I talk about the remote, federal remote online notarization, I just wanted to say a little more about mind your P's and Q's. So I wondered myself what that really meant. What does that mean to mind your P's and Q's? I've been using AI more and more here lately, so I asked AI what the origins of that saying is. And AI went to Wikipedia, it went to another source. I forget the name of the source. but they claim there are supposedly 3 or 4 different um, reasons why this used to be important saying. It's old, it dates way back. But the most popular origin is that when young children went to school to learn the alphabet, you don't see it here with the capitalized letter, but the smaller case p and the lowercase q look very similar. I should have typed that differently on the screen. And it rung a bell with me that it is very easy to get them confused. And so it's believed that the teacher or the parent would say, mind your P's and Q's. But for me and the review of these 3 laws, I'm saying just be careful, be aware, especially for the retirement law and also for the price gouging law, that you make sure you don't get caught up in any foolishness or any fraud that could be conducted by a family member, family friend, or even a total stranger. All right, let's wrap it up with the Federal Remote Online Notarization Bill. This has not passed as of today. So this was not one of the October 1, 2025 new laws that were signed into effect for Alabama notaries. We still have our own style of remote notarization. I am referring to a bill that has been hanging around for several years. U.S. House Bill, it was known as 1777, also known as the Secure Notarization Act. So this bill, not much was going on. In March of this year, it was in committee, and that was the last update I gave you all, that it was in the House Committee of Energy and Commerce. And then it just sat there for a couple of months. It did get a new number. It is now U.S. Senate Bill 1561. I believe I have that right. It is still in committee, but it is now in the Judiciary Senate Committee as of May 1st, 2025. I got excited. I thought, okay, that was an update. It must be moving forward. But before I hopped on this mic, I reached out to our local legislative expert, Ms. Sheila Infinger. I appreciate her. She is also a member of the Alabama Notary community in our Facebook group. If you're not a member, you'll find a link to join the Facebook group in the description of this video. She told me to hold my horses, don't read too much into that little jump from one committee to another. And it appears now that the federal government has shut down that she definitely is right. If and when this gets passed, it would not only affect us here in Alabama, but it could possibly be passed or implemented in all 50 states. All right. And the states that already have RON would have the option to keep their current RON as long as it meets the new federal standards. And if not, then they would have to adjust. But for us here in the state of Alabama, we do not have remote online notarization. We only have remote notarization, also known as remote ink notarization. I have recorded a number of videos on this topic, and so just go through the different videos and playlists on this channel. And I do have a second channel that is dedicated solely to Alabama remote notarization if you want more information about that. Senator Kramer and Senator Bentz have been championing the federal remote online notarization or taking the lead. If this is something that you really would like to happen in Alabama, I encourage you to reach out to your elected officials. I personally believe one of the reasons why this is not moving as quickly as it could is I don't think any or many of us here in Alabama are talking about it to the right individuals. And those individuals serve in Congress. So reach out to your elected official, let him or her know that this is something you would like to get passed. Before I end this video, I want to say one more thing about the federal remote online notarization. The main reason why I know as much about it as I do, which is not a whole lot, but more than some others, can be attributed in great part to the National Notary Association. I hear from time to time on social media notaries saying they wish the NNA did this, did that. They do quite a bit. And one of the things that they do extremely well is to track laws that directly impact notaries or could impact notaries. And so whenever I have a question about our notary laws, the NNA is the first place that I go to. And then I go to our legislative website with the bill numbers that I got from the NNA's website. It makes it easier for me to search for any bills that are being discussed or considered, whether it's in a state bill or a federal bill or legislation. That concludes my October 2025 legislative update. I hope you found this information helpful. If so, let me know in the comments below, especially if you have any questions. If I wasn't clear about something, let me know. I'll be happy to elaborate down below. I really do appreciate all of you who follow my channel. It means a lot to me. And I hope the information shared is beneficial to you. Have a wonderful and productive rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks again for watching and for listening.